guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Irene, and I want to give you a backstory as to the story my grandmother is telling us, because I understand that there are a lot of people that are not Igbo speaking but they watch my videos. Okay, so as not to keep you in the dark, let me explain what the whole story is about. And for my Igbo people, you guys are going to watch the video to the end to hear her tell the story and the excitement and everything. Okay, so actually she didn't know I was recording her because it was just a random story that she was telling us. At first I started it and then I stopped, and then I said, okay, no, let me do it again, and then I did it again. And because the video, it wasn't clear, it was dark, so the video is not really clear. Okay, so I can't remember what actually prompted this story again, but then it happened that but I want to put an orchard hey, but my pants are white. But I like it. Watch out. Hey.
Mania who let her man.
What you doing?
Dejim. Mele akoyaka. Anaya yefika. Anaya to mo. Where to put the mic? Now, mine is over.
Yes.
It's a mobile and
Jonathan anyway. Anya we the rose. And the person Lindia will leave them chandela.
Well, that's fancy.
Sister. Oh, I am. Anya and oh, 2 minutes, fit up by ya. I can't know what about the lady. Hey, Pat. I'm talking to them limo when
yes.
I got Abu Jehovah.
Abu Jehovah, yes. But I think you can.
Dim no la eba ya kan de bodo ma ko to nje we la bala ku zam dia ma bila to ya ko ta boy unu wa boy ba mo je lo we mna no dikena mo je lo de ta no dikena
yes
Chineke na me lile mene na ngabala igwe ani
akota sa it's bad na teacher wa lesson ma de lo tamani mo nshi de lo tamani
ku ku emetulu mo deche o de teacher Ndi la ke onye na we mba ibebula onye na la ke chikewe ma ha de ro na ga ro the woman no
na no ma ahia okay ndo cha vrivu
obudia
okay
Chineke ya ga he iyolo ade no go bafuya mi no tu na bafuya mi no ade na mi no iyolo ko la
ada ga mba
ya ga he Umu muyanga nasema sana mwanangu mimi kama mmelisho wewe kama mmelisho waso wewe kama mmelisho mambo madu wabiachia sidhe mwa mimi ngasa kwaram malawa la badulo hosia dimpana malo dim mangwe ya lile ngani hena imelale
yes
ele kuizo Ndia ho ken anya ya chachala obe na bia no jicha opara
pokoteba ha chori na why na chikubu di la why do fighting go
ga se doctor mo de la we le ma ho si doctor ene yani arrest
ele na carry that into the kitchen
de dimba obu no nwanne mba gara me he na ya si logo le akwa no melilo le boni si wala we de le la na ya
awo
so lo ko la melilo ke so no bono emecha anya ngwa
owo
we here ba no ba we la police iliki adia dimba sia monya ola aka de police
when she and her husband got married and had their first 3 children, like they've already had my mom and she come this side, go this side. They've already had kids, not like they were still young or something. They've already had my mom, her big sister, and the rest of the other children. Maybe except for the last one, maybe they've not had the last one as at that time. So then there's this friend of my grandfather who they worked together somewhere where they used to work in Lagos, because my grandfather lived in Lagos. So he used to work with this white company and so that and all that. So and this man had an accident, and my grandfather encouraged him to go to the hospital, you know, and do checkup and be sure that he's fine. But as an Igbo man, you know how African men can be very stubborn sometimes. He was like, it's nothing, there's nothing, I'm fine, there's no too much problem, you get. Then without knowing that he had an internal bleeding, so before you know it, he became very ill. They took him to the hospital and he died. So at this point, my grandfather was so touched that he took leave, he took permission to come and come back home and check on the family and everything. So he came back and he checked and he went back. So later on, the burial was fixed, and meanwhile the company where he worked arranged money and gifts to give to the man's wife or family, so that they could use in helping the burial. So my grandfather handed those gifts, including money, to brothers of the late guy, okay, and instructed them that they should give the wife all those things that he brought wife. And so this was before the burial was actually arranged. So he came back home after the burial has been fixed and the man was buried. So he came back home to visit the wife of his friend, and he was like, how are you doing? Meanwhile, my grandmother actually lived in the village, but she usually go and visit her husband in Lagos then that time, and then comes back. So he came home and he met the wife of his friend and was like, how are you doing? Did they give you, did your family members, your husband brothers give you the gifts, everything that the company gave you? It was at this point they didn't even let him finish that. They came out without him knowing that they were already like standing around and listening to their conversation. So it was at this point that they came out and like, will you shut up your mouth? Can't you say what? Can't you just come here and say sorry and go? Who asked you to talk? They started hitting him, beating him, and chasing him out of their compound. So my grandfather like, meanwhile they've already spoiled his bicycle, his brand new bicycle. So he came back home and told his wife, see you, look at what just happened, though. And he was only asking the woman if they gave her everything that the company gave. And before the husband's brothers came out and started fighting him. That he did not fight back home, that he only came back home. Meanwhile, his clothes were all soiled. So his wife, my grandmother, was like, okay, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. So before you know it, the town crier came out and they started hitting the conco, go, that there's a meeting, that there's everybody, all the young men, they should come out in the what's it called, Nama. So, and the way they were making emphasis on, it was like they were telling my grandfather that he should start coming out too. So at this point, somebody came in and told my grandfather and my grandmother that, see you, that from what she heard, it's like there's going to be trouble. It's like they're planning something against him, that they say that it's him that killed the husband of the woman that died. The man, like the woman's husband that died. So at that point, my grandfather said that he has to go to the to the Ama and prove himself that he doesn't know anything. In fact, tell his own side of the story. So it was at this point that my grandfather left. So my grandmother was like, no, let her go to and find out what is happening. So my grandmother dressed up and wore her pants. So she dressed up and then she went to the so-called Ama. So when she got to the Ama, when she got there, already people have started running already. Like there was fight, everybody was running helter-skelter. She was like, what is happening? Why is everybody running around? So she started asking questions. Where's her husband? Her husband was wearing white. And anybody who knows my grandfather knows my grandfather is a very clean man. He likes white. I don't know, he likes that color white. He always wear white. His inner wears are white, his singlet, his clothes mostly white. So he wore white, and as per somebody that just came back to the village from the city now, so he wore white plus his bicycle. Then that time the horse bicycle was what was trending. There was no there was hardly machines or maybe cars. So he was doing fine then, okay. So it was at this time my grandma was just looking for him. Said, where did he go? Where did he go? Before you know it, he saw somebody wearing white, but she didn't really place if it was her husband or not, because the men there were crowding the person and beating the person wearing white. So when she got closer, to find out what was really going on, so she met a brother to this man that died, and she was asking him, have you seen Alexander? Have you seen Alexander? And it was at this point that, don't mind that stupid man. Like, don't mind her husband. Her husband is a stupid man, that they are beating him there. My grandmother said, what? And my grandmother, if you know her, she's a very strong woman. She held him, meanwhile, and started beating him. Beating him. In fact, the story is best told by her, okay? So I want you guys to watch the video. Even if you don't understand Igbo, just look at the video and just make one or two things out of the video. But the point is that she actually beat these people. That this man, his mother came out, his sister came out, and they all fought her, but she beat all of them. Which is why even till date, as old as they are, anytime that man tries to do anything silly, they're going to tell her that they're going to call Winnie Alexander. Winnie Alexander will come and beat him very, very well. Even though they are old, that she can still beat her. So actually, it was fun, and See, the point of the story was actually sometimes people who want to put husband and wife like this, you know, and deal with them. But when you marry a strong woman, they're not going to tell you nonsense. They're not going to do rubbish to you. Okay, strength might not necessarily be power when it comes to fighting and boxing and all that. It could be in other ways. Every woman needs to be strong, and you need to know your husband and know how to win and how to defend your husband. Likewise, a man too. Every man needs to be a strong pillar for her husband, for her wife, for his wife. Okay, so while my grandma was beating the people around this area, my grandfather was actually beating people the other. No wonder my mom's family, they are all strong people. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Until then.